10 seconds remaining.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to Archon Dota against Complexity Gaming in the grand finals of these American playoffs for the Starladder series. We're going to see potentially in this game, are Archon Dota going to move on to the finals in Minsk, Belarus, or are we going to see Complexity pull a comeback? I'm Lyrical Dota, joined today by Trouf. How are you doing today, sir? What are you hoping and expecting to see in this game two here between these two sides?
Well, different draft. I always like seeing different things happen.
Goodness gracious. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes these things do end up happening.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Away here from Complexity. Go with the Starladder here themselves.
Dire
As well as the Quap and the days. Okay. I think this just screams that they've been screaming against them and they've been picking up the Quap a lot. Then of course the Shadow Fiend and the Doom banned out despite them picking up the Doom themselves. And Alk and Io, so they're gonna pick some elves.
Oh man, this is kind of an interesting one. So I talked about this in the previous draft, but Archon throughout the whole course of this playoffs have been running Alchemist consistently. And what we've been seeing out of them is obviously the normal acid spray, or excuse me, Greedless Greed level 1, get yourself a bounty rune, and then afterwards go on back for leaving it just at that 1 point of Greedless Greed and maxing stun. Sometimes we do end up seeing to go for a max greed build if you're able to make it happen. Then afterwards going for the quick medallion into a solar crest and eventually picking on up a blink dagger and just roaming around the map and really causing havoc. And it's looked incredibly strong. I'm wondering now, Complexity did ban it in the first stage, so maybe they have some way to deal with this here.
Well, step one is making sure he does not get the bounty rune. It's such a sweat off your back. Like, having that bounty rune for Alchemist just feel like you're soaring to win. Like, it just feels so good. So if you're able to deny him that, you're off to a great start. So the way to do that is to make sure you draft very strong level 1. It's crazy to think that securing a bounty rune or denying a bounty rune from their team is going to get you to win the game. Obviously, it's not going to win you the game, but it's going to put you in a great position to bully him out of the mid lane, because it's, like, the gold is great. Don't get me wrong; that extra 500 gold is amazing. But honestly, I feel like the experience is just as important, because 2 creeps and you're level 2. You're level 2, that means in the middle of the first wave you can start spamming your acid. That's really hard for most heroes to deal with. So if you can deny him that, and like you deny him the rune, and you start denying the wave, that means he's not going to get level 2, maybe the 2.5 wave. Really important if you're trying to bully him out of lane. So I think step 1 is making sure you draft heroes that can really fight at the level 1, and also more importantly, scout out where he's going. This is why Bounty Hunter is actually pretty good against Alchemists in the beginning, because if you're running around Invis and seeing where the heroes are posting up, that gives you a indication as to which rune they're going to go to, and then you can plan your level 1 fight accordingly.
Absolutely. Definitely can make a big difference. You mentioned there's something that I really liked also a little bit earlier about the experience there and being able to bully Alchemist out of the lane if he doesn't end up getting that level 2 by that first wave. And I think that that's really relevant, particularly when you think about a hero like Queen of Pain, which has already been banned out, or somebody else like Alina maybe who can just going up there and spam a lot of nukes. It's a hero that you expect generally to be able to win the lane hard, and the way that Alchemist deals with this is just rolling down the acid spray and kind of step back a little bit, wait for the creeps to get a little bit killed off, and then you move forward and punch it in the face. And to me, like, that style of play is so frustrating to go against, that if you're able to deny that through the first 1 or 2 waves, Alchemist is just really difficult to deal with. I also want to mention here that Complexity end up going for the Ancient Apparition pick, and I think that this hero is obviously great against Alchemist, but it requires you to be able to deal with him through the first, until Ancient Apparition gets his level, essentially, because it's a late game counter, but the early game is really what you need to do to shut down Alchemist, I feel like.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I completely agree. It's not just you pick an apparition and be like, haha, checkmate, Alchemist pick. Gotta get to that level 6 first. So I think I still go back to the point that it's extremely important that you are ready to fight level 1. Starladder's perfect for that. Ancient Apparition's very good with the Chill Touch. I just want to also point out that they've banned out 3 out of the 5 heroes that Archon just ran last
10
game too.
seconds
Undying, the tiny, or sorry, they've done Undying for
5
themselves, didn't they?
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
The tiny and the Bat Rider too. I'm
Reserve
forgetting
time.
already.
I mean, it all blends together. It's
No,
it's
they
all
didn't.
good.
They didn't pick the Undying. I'm so stupid. Yeah, all these games are kind of blended.
It was Complexity, I think, that ended up running the Undying last game. Actually,
That's right. Well, they banned out the tiny and the bat. I know that those 2 heroes are at least playing for Archon, but yeah. I mean, and it's just Complexity do go for like the Bounty Hunter. I know they love to run it. I know that Z-Freak loves to play it. It's actually pretty good against Wisp because getting those stacks up, it gives you, like I mentioned, the easy 3 damage or something like that of the Shuriken bouncing to and fro. So, I think it'd be a hero, but we'll see what they're thinking of. I do like the Bat ban. I think Archon ran it well. I think it really punished their Ancient Apparition lane, and so they have an Ancient Apparition again. Makes sense to ban it out.
Well, one thing that I think we can definitely say about this game is with Alchemist on your team, you tend to know fairly quickly whether the game is going to be good or if the game is going to be bad, just by the nature of how quickly this hero scales up, and likewise if you're able to shut him down, how hard you shut him down. There isn't a ton of middle ground, I feel like, because every creep ends up mattering that much more. You end up picking up the Bane now for Archon, and another thing to think about, we've talked about it a couple times in this draft, Complexity haven't really been drafting a ton of stuns or control of their own. And right now, with the Starladder and Anti-Apparition, and if they do end up going for that Bounty Hunter that you talk about, still left with maybe not too many ways to be able to interrupt TPs. Do you think that style is still, worth going for? Do you think that it's still something that can end up working for them, considering Archon aren't really matching the aggression?
It all depends if you have the main points covered. Can we push high ground? Can we win team fights? Can we gank? And if you have answered to basically 2 out of 3 of those, I think it's fine. Having all of them was Archon had last game, which is why I really just praised Fluff for his draft. They had everything. They had gank, they had potential, they had high ground pushing, they had strong lane. They had everything. It was just a very, very nice draft. So if you're not drafting too many stuns, as long as you fulfill those requirements those prerequisites really, then I think you're okay. Starladder gives you a plethora of stuns in his own right. I mean, this guy has a extremely low cooldown main stun in 8 seconds. There's tons of stuns for you right there. But they go with the Spirit Breaker as their 4, which I think is still okay. I still think it's just very important that they have vision of where this Alchemist is. They're ready to fight. I would hate to see rune and just not contest and just dodge. Each mid laner gets the rune. I don't think that's the way to play against Alchemist. One of the first times we saw Alchemist kind of floating in the NA, the Frankfurt qualifiers. I remember watching Cloud9 at the time with their old roster. I remember them playing against, I forget who it was. I think it was actually unknown. No, I think they were in different groups actually. Oh, maybe they played against them after they popped out of the groups, but I forget who. They were so good about finding where the Alchemist was going. The second the game started, they TP'd their Ancient Apparition to the mid lane. They warded on Dire, so it's going to be if you're Radiant, you're going to. But they TP'd mid and they warded so that they would have vision of uphill, so they would know where the other heroes were standing. And it was that vision that led them to ultimately win that level 1 engagement and get both runes. And I would like to see Complexity Gaming do something like that.
10 seconds remaining.
Absolutely. I think that can't overestimate how important
5 seconds
be able
remaining.
to get on out there, and also with the the lowered cost of team now, you're able to make that investment much less costly to be able to go out there and you end up dropping down 75 TP for a TP scroll early. That means that your alchemist is the enemy's alchemist is potentially denied 500 gold. We do end up seeing a gyrocopter here next for Archon, and the Bane gyrocopter, this looks like a lineup that can probably, at least to some extent, fight early for the runes, but Viper's the next pick. I like this draft better for Complexity than the last game, but that being said, the last draft for Complexity out for them too.
I do like Viper against Alchemist. It's very, very strong in the mid lane against him. I'm wondering, Archon have a couple of different options here. They can go aggro tri-lane with a very, very nice Gyro, Bane, and Wisp. That's very strong. They can also just play it safe. Go Bane, Gyro top, Wisp, Alchemist mid, Wisp stacking for the Alchemist. Get him a ton of like so much farm, even if he has a hard time against Viper, and then some kind of strong off lane. That's the more safe route. That's the more standard route. what I expect them to do. But whenever I see a Wisp gyro, I think of old Cloud9 with Eternal Envy. They would always aggro try.
10 seconds.
They won
remaining.
every single time they did it. If they died once or twice, they actually found out the PL,
Dire
and
team pick.
that's a ban. Huh.
I guess maybe with their offlaner here, we'll see in a second what it is, but potentially a hero that doesn't deal super well with him. And I think that probably also, I guess in my estimation here, you have a Spearbreaker that might be running a sort of dual offlane here with the Starladder, and then an Ancient Apparition as the support, so you want to
10
be able to
seconds
ban out a
remaining.
hero that can sort of sustain and lane a little bit effectively. Brewmaster going to be picked up this time around. So this is sort of a variation of the draft that Complexity ran against Archon in game 1 of their last best of 3s that they played 2 days ago. The main pieces that get switched out is a Gyrocopter instead of a Shadow Fiend. And they also ran the IO in that combo as well, and it worked really, really great. So Monkeys Forever Brewmaster is, I think, what this is, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm very curious about this
10
PL
seconds
ban. Like,
remaining.
are we seeing something here? Like, were they thinking they're going to go aggro
5
trialing with?
seconds remaining.
Oh,
PL?
wait, yeah. Okay, no, I'm tripping. I thought that was Archon banning out the PL. I don't know why Complexity.
Reserve
Sorry.
time.
Oh no, that's fine. I wasn't paying attention. But it doesn't make like. Were they going to go aggro trialing with Gyro and then have PL solo the Starladder, or were they going to do the other way around and have Gyro solo
5
Starladder and then
seconds
go?
remaining.
I don't know. That's a weird ban. Me, I'm not quite sure. So that's again a fifth ban or lack of a ban from the last game that could potentially bite them. We'll see how strong this Brewmaster does in the offlane, or if he goes safely against Starladder. There's still that option, but probably going to go offlane. And then the Vengeful Spirit for Ziz, Revenge, taking a page out of VP's.
Hey, man. Good team also. We'll see. I'm really curious. I want to see what they have coming up their sleeve here. It's a lot of minus armor. Also, Viper, we talked about it in the first series of the day, that Nether Toxin being able to double down on that amount of damage. It's not against a Huskar this time, but it's again against an Alchemist, a hero that can sometimes sort of fluctuate between that life and death point if he's up going for something like that armlet. But I do think that it's probably going to be an early medallion out of Alchemist. I've been known to be wrong.
Remaining.
But he's picked that up, I think, past 5
5
Alchemist
seconds
of him
Yeah.
all 5 games.
It was I call it like the miracle build. Started doing it at Frankfurt when everyone was rushing Radiance, which Radiance is still good in some situations, but man, when Miracle was doing the Tread, Solar Crest, SNY Blink, it worked every time, and it didn't seem like the situation where it was bad. Like it seemed like it was always viable. The Venge, I'm really by it because Panda splits. Venge is just he probably is already stunned once. He's just a right click. He can fight. His range is quite low, so he's almost essentially a daily hero going up against Call Down, going up Panda split, going up against the goo coming out from the Alchemist. Not a fan of this Vengeful Spirit last pick.
Well, time will tell what ends up happening. It looks like, at least for now, they're ready to trade off runes, something that you were not too fond of before. We do end up seeing an early Observer Ward drop this time for Archon to ensure that they're going to be able to get themselves up. But actually, we haven't seen
30
Complexity show
seconds
here.
to
Now
go.
that Z-Freak and all of them are moving in, they're going to realize that this lane, or the top rune, is free for them. And I think Archon are comfortable trading this 10 days out of 10 days on the week.
Every single day of the week, they are comfortable with this. I think it's a really big oversight to just be okay with giving an Alchemist a room. It's almost literally a full hero starting out with 500 gold. Put in perspective, it's like you have a 6th hero with
The
that much
battle
net worth coming
begins.
in the game. It's very, very good. Okay, good. He did level up his Greevo. I've seen
I was
so
watching
many
that.
times. They forget to do.
That definitely would have been the most disastrous thing that could possibly happen for you at the early stages. But Limp now on the Viper is going to be going up against the Alchemist. Also worth knowing, the Alchemist does have the healing salve already on him, as well as 2 shared tangos. And this is something that I was wondering if we were going to end up seeing Whitebeard move into the lane as this Bane to help out a little bit against the Viper for at least the first couple levels. But Z-Freak was not a hero I was expecting to be here. Does have potential to get a bash since he did level at first. Actually not able to get that 17% against the Bane, and this is going to be a little bit longer before Alk gets level 2 because you do have the Bane here sharing experience.
It's the only thing I don't like. I feel like if Bane was just sitting in stack, you would have that level faster. And the thing is, if you're going 1v2, lane for Alchemist and you hit 2 before everyone else, that means your Goo is going up against 2 very underleveled heroes in the mid lane. So that's the only thing I don't like about how this setup is, but now he hits level 2. Now he can start Acid Spray.
Radiant's middle tower. is
Well,
under
we will see how
attack.
this goes. I think that probably top lane is going to be not a whole ton of kill potential here unless somebody sort of very, very greedy with it. Brewmaster obviously is just sort of going to be trying to get as much levels as he possibly can here. Same with Swindles. And do you think there's much kill potential here at all?
I think both of these heroes are pretty good. Like, Brewmaster was always thought of as being one of the heroes against melee heroes, but same thing with Starladder, so I would say it's a relatively even matchup. I would be a little bit more comfortable playing the Starladder in this matchup, just 'cause you have a very low cooldown of your Slithering Crush, and actually now you have a charge coming out from the Spirit Breaker to maybe get something done. But the creep wave is going to be pretty far away by the time he gets there. I don't know if unless he plays really far up or something. See how he's standing up here for kind of not very much reason. Sprint coming out, stun comes out from Z-Freak, maybe get some 70%. That damage from that stomp is insane!
Oh my god, and he might be able to get 2 here. Z-Freak is dropping pretty low, taking a lot of damage, but might be able to pen him on in. They do end up getting a bit of a return stun. Monkeys Forever dropping really low, and first blood going Z-Freak's way. It's worth noting down in the bottom lane, that was a charge away from a Fluff and Stuff IO as well as Whitebeard, who were sort of dealing a little bit of damage to him. So I think that at that point, they were maybe trying to bait that out a little bit, but weren't able to get the return kill. Hanskin now getting chased on down by the Gyrocopter, as well as Whitebeard. This is going to be a kill on top of him. Not able to get Zizzy, though, as he just backs over underneath the tower.
And Viper has a lot of CS and a lot of denies, but Alchemist does have 10 CS as well, so Moo's still finding his farm. Unfortunately, no stacking is going on as they are running the aggro tri-lane. That is one of the fallbacks here. Does level up the Corrosive. Very, very good against the Acid. Double TP coming in as he is charging up the stun. Wisp comes in to help him out, and I think get dead Viper. One of the drawbacks of this hero is your move speed is extremely low, and with him not having boots, it's very easy to punish that.
That is so frustrating as a Viper. You need to be able to win that laning stage so hard because of your lack of a great farming mechanic, and I struggle to see how he's going to be able to catch up super well against an Alchemist who by his very nature is about snowballing forward. This is going to be a charge forward onto Monkeys Forever. We do have on the backside Whitebeard coming in as the Bane. I don't think they find a kill here, but Bane is definitely at least going to give them enough pause to make sure they don't want to go. And this is the other part. Now that Alchemist has been able to get a kill on top of the Viper, they're free to be able to roam the Bane around and start winning other lanes as well.
Yeah, just really good communication from Archon. You could tell that as they were going for bottom, they were still talking about and mid, leveled up stun here from Moo. And then at the same time, while they were doing that, it's very easy for a Gyrocopter off. Oh, hold that thought. The Swindles is slept up here. The stun hanging out. JO wasn't in vicinity of it, and they're going to get a very easy kill up onto the Starladder after JO rotates top. I love this movement from Archon. They're playing very, very well.
Really great. And Alchemist gets a bounty rune to top it all off because that is what he does. He is going to be flying something out to himself. That's going to be a Gloves of Haste. I don't think he goes for Midas. Yeah, it's his treads. Would have been very surprised if he would have gone back for a Midas. But Monkey Forever is going to get stunned up now. Magic Missile. Also the Chilling Touch. A couple more right clicks, but not going to be able to get in range with the bonus move speed coming from Tether.
Starladder has TP down here, looking for a potential kill. He does use the sprint. It's level 2. But they're pretty quick. They need to get a stun, and yeah, I think Monkeys Forever is going to die here.
Radiant's top tower.
Rush, one more right click is going to do it, and unfortunately not quite enough regeneration from Fluff and Stuff. Goes back, blocking out the creep wave a little bit more. 500 gold swing at the end of that day, and Io has been a part of 2 kills, so he's getting a bottle on top of the magic stick. I was actually relatively decently farmed compared to the other supports here.
Yeah, and trying to rotate. I think he's trying to scout out if there is X, but there's actually none here. There's the only drawback here for Moo, but he's got that 1 kill, even though he's got 14 CS. Look at his farm. You don't expect this out of 14 CS coming up mid laner with Treads, Bottle, and almost level 6.
Just silly. It's a very, very good hero. As we
Charge
go
up
into
top.
getting the charge, Gyro, they're going to cancel it on off. A little bit too deep there for them as Bane was in the area. Mid lane, maybe going to be able to make a jump here on top of the Viper yet again. They do have the stun charging on up. They're going to throw it out, but Limp is just going to back out. was just barely close to being able to get gone on, as you got the bonus attack speed coming out from Mu, as well as just, of course, the natural minus armor that comes out on top of the Viper. And that's one thing that Viper can struggle with, I feel like, a little bit at least, is if you get the minus armor down on top of him, he doesn't have the highest HP in the world. He relies a little bit more on corrosive skin, I feel like, to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And even then, the corrosive skin is great, but when your HP number is low, it doesn't save you that much. I hear the haste rune being popped by Fluff and Stuff. He comes down, helps out Monkeys Forever. There is a salve being popped here from Handskin. Well, it's a courier running through them, but it will be safe and sound as it delivers boards, and I think boots or something. Oh, haste rune. Oh, actually goes through. His charge is going on to Monkeys Forever. He's so close to level 6.
Quite going to be able to get it, but the TP on in, they're going to be able to get here. Fluff and Stuff is going to fall. We also have Alchemist in there. 4 heroes coming in here. I think that Z-Freak is going to die, as Monkeys Forever does also have another stomp in 3 seconds.
He's got a charge if he can find the target. Maybe a sleep.
Bane.
He runs in front of it. Does get the sleep. Very nice.
Yeah, just going to be able to pick that one off there as well with the Rocket Barrage. Nicely done to finish him.
It is 5 heroes, though.
There's a lot committed for that, definitely. Net worth is only a 2. I mean, it's an even trade, but you're farming right now on the Spirit while you end up having to move the Gyrocopter all the way on over to the mid lane.
Hear a call down somewhere. Oh, it was mid. Just a zoning call down, as we call it.
Get away from me, Viper. That's what he says. A charge on top of Whitebeard. They don't have these camps stacked up, but maybe that's what we're going to see in a couple of minutes here for JO. I think that they cancel out that charge on Whitebeard, just trying to get back to the lane a little bit more quickly. Let's take a look at where we're sitting right now. It's been a bit of action early on, about 7 kills in under 8 minutes. We do have just about a 750 gold lead into the favor of Archon, as well as an experience lead of 1,000 going the way of Complexity. Chumping forward, Swindles is going to run away from the combo of the Gyrocopter as well as the IO, and then TP out of here before we get a little bit too dicey. And Mu, unfortunately, is ended up getting his rune denied, and now they're going to be able to make Handskin pay for it. Take this today as he away from a nice little bit of gold going back the way of Alchemist, who has been able to pick Sean off his medallion.
Yeah, he's just such a great start. Viper, he's very, very well in the mid lane, but not good enough. Not good enough to where he can start taking over a game. He really needs his mech, and you see the damage. It's easy to get all these denies with this Nether Toxin, but Mrs. Alchemist, he's going to find his farm elsewhere. There's a charge up top. There's a call down, actually, very, very nicely timed from Z-Freak, or onto Z-Freak. It's just going to fall.
Swindle's also dropping pretty low. They do end up getting the cold feet onto JO, but with the
balls in the face.
Find this, get him. No, not going to be able to make it happen. The swap on back, Fluff and Stuff is going to charge on forward. Tether to get out of there, but still ends up falling in the end to the Vengeful Spirit. Another TP on in. This is going to be the Brewmaster. Should have level 6 at this point, as we do get the charge. Okay, no. I'll find it. So leaving it alone for now. A 1-for-1 trade. Spirit Breaker for IO. Not the worst in the world.
Yeah, pretty even, and it actually favors bonding, and that's your hard carry Venge that has to rotate up there, and they aren't able to transition it. Tower push, no tower damage really. Biding time now for the Brewmaster to get his blink, and then Alchemist to more items for him. Gyrocopter, whatever he needs to get. He's actually going to TP bottom and just farm that lane, it seems.
Getting a little bit cheated on by Z-Freak, trying to get fresh with the little ball of light. And where we sit, Gyrocopter, in terms of this build, do you think that it looks like he's going straight for a Sange and Yasha, maybe, considering he's picked on up the Belt of Strength? What do you think about the item choice of, potentially going for a drums first versus this type of build?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I love drums on Agi. Oh, there's a mystic. Shoot, there's action everywhere all of a sudden. But the damage output, I will say, despite me not really caring for this pick in the whole scheme of things, the synergy between Venge and Starladder is insane. The amount of negative army you give, the extra amp damage from the Vengeance aura is just insane. So those two are very, very nicely comboed together, but we'll see if it is still relevant as we approach the mid game.
Oh, Viper Strike on top of Fluff and stuff in the bottom lane is going to stick the charge back up and then try and TP out. Look at the damage coming out from this gyrocopter. It's just so much. And they're able to turn back around what was a gank from an invised up Viper as well as the charge, and they just find that kill. Now Monkeys Forever is going to get a little bit of a return here onto Swindle. They do end up getting the crush as well as the swap back. Now you're potentially a little bit caught out. We do have the brew split if they want to commit it, and not waiting for that one. They're going to back on out and leave it alone for the time being, hoping to find that Blink Dagger, as you mentioned, on that Brewmaster before they commit anything further.
Yeah, it'd be nice to also get levels up on Whitebeard as he just hit level 5. There is an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast here with the charge. Someone's looking, and it's actually just going to pop the Panda Split, and they're just going to run away. Can he catch somebody? He does get the Yules up. More members of Archon up here, and here comes JO TPing up with the Gyrocopter.
Committing the Rock Toss as well. He's going to get lifted again in a second if they want to. Actually doesn't have enough mana. 7 more seconds before he has enough for that. And now the Brew Split is over. They end up having to sort of stare awkwardly at each other in the top lane, as actually the farming really right now is great across the board for the rest of Complex. They're spread out very, very well. I think that they're going to lose a tower for it, but it's kind of almost worth it. You're sort of making the rest of this group up a little bit together. They do end up bringing on back Moo a little bit. He's separated from the herd, might go down. The A-Blast is well committed, and now Archon suddenly are in a bit of a bind. Jo is pretty low, and they're going to charge on in after Fluff and Stuff. They end up getting the bash onto the Gyrocopter, and he ends up falling. Now Fluff and Stuff is going pretty low. No Brew Split. Oh, they don't quite hit the crush as they do get the turnaround. There's going to be a lot more damage coming out, and Limp is just a beast in these fights. Monkeys Forever is going to fall as well. This is going to be 4 heroes here and a tower to back it all up.
Jeez, the damage output there is real. Really nice swap onto Venge, and I think that what happened is the tether happened already, and they knew that if they were able to focus down on one target, namely the Alchemist, that they wouldn't have the tether ready to save him. And Alchemist just was not. Despite having the Solar Crest, he dies so super fast. I don't think that they missed at all either, and really caught him off guard. Nicely played there from Zizzy.
Absolutely. And you also have on the Vengeful Spirit drums getting picked on up. So that's a pretty good item. We were talking about its effectiveness early, and you know, for a hero like this that does have that limited range that we've sort of alluded to a couple times in the cast, it's really important to make sure that you're able to get that movement speed to your opponents. Not really a hero that you oftentimes want to build a Blink Dagger on, so I like the drums pickup here. It makes sense.
I really like drums for Agi carries because it 6 free Agi. If you look at the Brace, 6 strength, you also have the Robe of the Magi, but when you combine it with the whole rest, it gives you this random 6 Agi by just completing it. So it's very good in terms of cost effectiveness for Agi carries, like Gyro. To answer your question, yes, I do like it on Gyro. I like it on Venge. Not to mention the charges you use, and the extra movement speed, and the aura, and all that jazz. Relocate, he just got level 6, and
Is that for
gonna go
Roshan?
reload. Yeah, I suppose so. This is kind
Very
of
bold.
awkward. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Someone help me.
I don't know. You're the analyst here, man.
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to that. I think I actually have no idea. Who's getting caught out now?
Called down as well. They're going to be able to get the Fiend Script down on top of Zizzy, though. He's not going to be able to do damage throughout the whole course of this. He ended up getting a lot of damage, though, onto the Gyrocopter. Another 2 quick kills. Buyback by the Alchemist. They're trying to reinitiate here. Monkeys Forever is a bit slow, though, and they're not going to be able to catch up to him. I don't think the stun is going to hit on the Handskin either. And just like that, the chase is all gone. Where's the dream? Swindle's thinking about reinitiating. He does have his Blink Dagger up. Oh god, if they're able to catch on out Moo here as well, Archon might be in a bit of trouble, but no, they're not going to commit any further. The missed chance there at the end, I think, is probably what dissuaded them from going any further onto Moo.
That's 2 buybacks on 2 cores, man. That is a massive win for Complexity. And it goes back to, what was that relocate all about? And maybe their idea was we can relocate in this Roche or something, but they clearly weren't all on the same page, because they were like going into Roche, then going out, and then like, oh crap, we wasted time, let's fail. That was very, very strange. And then because of that, Wisp goes back to the top lane. Alchemist is top by himself mid yet again, and Archon are just. Seems like Complexity are taking these fights, and Archon are just not ready for whoever. But yeah, Complexity are capitalizing. It goes both ways. Very well played by Complexity.
Absolutely. Vengeful Spirit. Viper now has his mech. So a 4-man smoke on over towards the bottom lane. To relocate, back up actually. They can get out of here if there is too much of a problem, but that would end up costing Fluffstuff his life. I am pretty concerned about this lineup here. We do end up having to charge forward. They end up breaking that off, not wanting to charge into the middle of a cooldown, which probably makes sense under the tier 1, and playing things a little bit more safe at this point in time. It's worth noting right now, net worth graph, about 4,500 gold into the favor of Complexity, as well as an experience lead of 3,500. Net worth, he's still up on top, but the Viper is closing in pretty close behind him. This is a hero that wants to be significantly further ahead and has not been able to do that. And you talked about it, not really any stacks in the jungle either for this guy to take. He's going to need some type of ability to sort of give himself another boost of gold influx. Is there anything else that you feel like right now that Archon can be doing besides just trying to farm a little bit? Do they want to take another fight?
I don't think you can fight at all if you're Archon. And I think they have... I think they... Like, you have the Wisp, it's very easy to just split and farm. That's one of the ways you can exploit the Viper pick, is that you can't move around very easily, they don't have a Wisp, make him extra mobile. Blink, stun, initiation not quite there, he just gets the blink and amp damage. Just scout him out. But yeah, I think if you're Archon, you need to split. You need to wait for the... Oh, he actually just got it. Just got the blink delivered for the brew. Very close to level 11 too, maybe he waits for that extra 2 duration on his ulti. But yeah, there's no way you're fighting Complexity's lineup. Not with a mech, not with a Starladder, and Venge having some good stats. One key thing about Venge too is if this does get later, is that extremely high agi gain. It was one of the buffed about him recently too. That he gains a lot of agility per level. So if you ever do transition to him into a core, or if he's a core to begin with, he can pack a punch in the late game.
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, level 11s, those elusive couple of levels now being picked up pretty soon by Archon, the Brewmaster getting close to it in the mid lane. Likewise, the Archon Gyrocopter is getting relatively close. Ancient Apparition just picked up his Hand of Midas, so he's going to continue to scale well into the later stages, and obviously the Aghanim Scepter always very potent against him. You end up losing 2 towers off the back of it as Complexity just march on down that bottom lane. And I think that, like you said, definitely a good idea. If you realize, you know what, we can't fight, don't even risk it. Don't even try and get yourself into that type of position. They back on out. They have the Blink Dagger on Monkeys. Now, here's my big question that I have for you. Do you think that Mu wants to go for a Sange and Yasha first, or is it more worth it to try and find a second source of initiation out of that Blink Dagger on him? I
would like the Sange and Yasha just because I think he needs the raw HP from some kind of source, whether it's the Vitality Booster, or the Sange, or the Yasha. Oh, he is? Alright, he's gonna go for the Blink, so he feels they really need the initiation. We'll see if they can keep him alive. It's very important the Tether is available. There's a number of times, but then again, if you can get a nice swap in Tether, then it doesn't even matter. So they have to be wary of that. Fluff, he actually tethers himself onto a cliff. I don't think that was intended. Gonna waste a little bit of time there.
These things happen. I'm sure it's going to be okay, but yeah, probably not intended there. They do end up smoking up, so they're going to start off the initiation.
That ward from Complexity was very, very close. I don't know if it scout any of it. Trees were down, so it should have a little bit over there, but I didn't see any pings.
Oh, what an awkward initiation. Monkeys gets on off the brew split. Whitebeard, though, is going to go down almost immediately. Limp doing so much damage. Now the AA Blast is going to connect onto the Gyrocopter. Z-Freak goes down. We do still have the Brewlings running around this place, but Mu is the one that is not contested at this point in time. Swindle's chasing after Handskin on the IO. They're going to lift on up the Viper, keep him away, at least for the time being. Zizzy is going to commit and be able to get taken out. No! They're going to be able to kite him away, and I think that Zizzy is going to live now. Swindle's running in the other side. What a great play. The jump forward. Mu drops also. Oh, what a play right there. The swap by the Vengeful Spirit. Saving her life.
Really well played by Zizzy. He is on fire this game. And it was actually a fantastic brew split from Monkeys Forever. His micro was very, very good. He Yules the Viper throughout most of the team fight. But the problem was Viper, as you mentioned, who shot the Bane for number. He had a DD and he was amped up. And I don't think he meant either. That was insane, the damage coming out from Limp. Now has a haste rune in a bottle with a yacht. But very, very nice play there at the end for Venge as he gets on out of there. So think about this too. If Venge dies at the beginning as there is action up top as Whitebeard's going to fall again, wicked sick here for Limp. But say Venge dies in the beginning of the fight, not a deep or to ever do. So it's like, well, if you live, that's great. You're going to do damage. If you die, well, you're gating all the damage for Archon too.
Well, and that's sort of the same type of role. I mean, not the same exactly for Viper, but if you try and focus him down, you're going to be taking damage in, and also if you let him live, then you're going to run into a position where he's just going to keep on doing a lot of damage throughout the whole course of the team fight. And you kind of need two different tornadoes now at this point out of the Brewmaster to be able to lift two heroes up, because both of them, you let them live, you're going to be in trouble, but if you try and focus them down, you're also going to be hurting yourself, obviously in different ways with the minus damage versus the actual just minus life that you end up getting with the Viper. But regardless, it's pretty clear that at this point Archon are going to need a lot of things to go their way. In terms of the net worth across the two teams, 7,500 in the whole, not often what you end up seeing with an Alchemist lineup. Experience, 7,500 also. And Hands of Midas's across the board pretty much at this point in complexity, as we do end up seeing a Mist Crush, nice blink away into the Fiend's Grip, but there's going to be the swap to break it on up. I think that Bane is still going to end up going down here. A-Blast on top of Moo. This is not what you want to have happen at the very start of this fight. They are going to be able to pop the Brew Split off the back of that. Handskin gets lifted up in the air. They do end up dispelling that in the end. Jump forward. There's going to be the counter initiation with the charge on throat. Swindle now jumping after him. I think that they find this kill here. They're waiting to potentially catch him as they do end up coming out of that. Monkeys Forever is now out of his Brew Split. Handskin, they might have dove a little bit too deep here. Moo is back in full effect, but he's dropping so low, he ends up going down. Swindles is now going to be able to get away from there. Godlike streak on Lip. This Viper is just so much damage. Oh my god, he is godlike.
He went from 0-2-0 to 10-2-5 now. His effectiveness in these fights is just insane. The amp damage coupled with the fact that he gets the extra physical damage from the toxin is people alive. It's insane how much damage he's doing. And the Archon are not taking the fights on their complexity and they're doing it with great force.
Thought for a second there was a chance with the Brew lift on up and the reinitiation again, but it's just they have too much damage right now, and while they don't have a ton of stuns, they're making sure that they land them on the proper targets each and every time. You saw the Crush there connect the second time through. The first one was a little bit of a misplay, but still, it's just so important. Viper now also has his mechanism, or excuse me, Fanta style, so you're going to be doing how much more damage with all the illusions. Zizzy with the Vladimir's offering everybody's life stealing. It's just a great time, and I'm not exactly sure how you get back into this game at this point for Archon, because it doesn't seem like you can 5-man into him anymore.
It was the same idea as it was 10 minutes ago. They needed to just dodge fights and try to get some items up onto the gyro. They were taking a lot of fights before onto Panda, and then when Panda got the blink, Monkeys Forever has been playing Panda ultis pretty well. They're just down too much that it doesn't
relocate
really
top
matter.
lane. They're going to be able to catch on the Handskin, but the charge on through on Z-Freak. Moo goes down yet again.
Alright.
Oh, not what you want out of your relocates. Uh-oh.
Z. Alright. Just let that one slide, Hans.
Not sure what that is all about, but they end up being able to reinitiate there. But a friendly, casual all chat is always good in Dota 2. Let you know that you're
I'm
watching
willing
NA
to bet
Dota.
that was just a miss, like he missed time. Heroes are so friendly and mannered. They never bad. They're not North American bad mannered.
Radiant's bottom tower.
All chat.
Fair enough. All right.
I know Hanskin. This guy is like got a heart of gold. He would never try to.
Has a hand of gold, by the way. Hey,
Dire's top tower is under attack.
as we just move on through that one. Sorry, everybody. Shano now with the Sanj, as well as going back for the Helm of Ironwell. So Helm of the Dominator afterwards, seeing like he needs to scale well into the late game, but he's going to get charged over. Swindles ends up connecting on top of him. And there's going to be the AA Blast on the backside. Can they actually connect on him? It doesn't. Moo is forward now as well, so they have caught out Z-Freak here. He might be in a little bit of trouble. The War Staff from Swindle to try and keep him alive a little bit longer. The rest of the team is coming on the other side. Worth noting that Zizzy is separated from the rest of the squad, not being able to deal as much damage as they want, but Viper's come on in. That's going to be a kill for him. Meanwhile, we also see Gyrocopter take on out the Spear Breaker. So can Limp do enough damage here to take on... Oh my god, just look at him fall. They end up being able to get the kill, but they still do end up killing off the Vengeful Whitebeard at 960 gold going the direction of Brewmaster. Moo back in the middle of everything. He's able to take on down the Ancient Apparition, but Limp is still here. What are you going to do against this? There's the relocate, trying to keep Moo alive. Can he survive one last hit? Is it going to be enough? No, Moo is going to be able to get out of there. It does look like now trying to reinitiate onto the DD'd up Viper. Buybacks across the board, 4 of them so far in this fight. They're trying to catch the stun, do end up getting it onto Limp. He's dropping really low. There's going to be the call down. If they can get this kill, it's so much gold going back their direction, and he does finally fall, but it's the Aegis still there. He's not going to be able to kill it. Well, maybe they kill him a second time also.
Starladder might blink in.
I think that they get the second stun, and he does go down. No man to dodge is going to be enough.
Oh, Starladder just killed himself! Oh no, he ran in, he was trying to blink in. He had no health to begin with, and he got hit by a bunch of balls. Oh, he lives with 5. No, he dies to noodles! He was gonna be fine! He was gonna be fine! He lived with 5 HP after the urn. Oh no. Well, it didn't really matter too much, but, as you mentioned, that's 1,200 gold bounty. Oh, you know what though? Jail bought back, I think. So he gets like none of that bounty.
Really frustrating.
Says he gets it, but he doesn't. That's really bad. He would have loved to get that on a different hero, but that unless the buyback gold thing, whatever you call it, the penalty went away. But it did go away. There was quite a bit of time. I could be wrong.
He has a decent amount of gold now, and he does also have the courier flying out to him. It's going to contain.
Okay. Must have just gone away.
Fluff and stuff's going to go down here, I think. Oh, dodging away from the Ice Blast. Nice play there. Not sure if that was intended or not, but let's say it was.
Yep.
It's actually, it wasn't an item. It was just a TP coming out to Jaya, so he didn't get the extra gold from that. Just
Yeah, because like he had these items for quite some time, I think. Maybe it was like just about to wear off. I don't remember. I wasn't really paying because I didn't think that they were gonna get that kill twice, but they did, and that really sucked. Bounty.
So the plus side of this is that they were defending around a tier 2, or where the tier 2 was before. So they didn't lose racks off the back of that, but they still had to commit 3 buybacks to win a team fight. And it's worth knowing the Spiritbreaker did buy back in that engagement as well. So I think that they're in a decent spot. I mean, let's take a look at net worth across the board. Still 15k gold lead for Complexity, but I don't think that Archon are out of it by any means. It's a less big lead than we saw in the last series, the last game rather. There's a jump forward on a Zizzy. That's going to be a connection as well as a jump forward. He's going to be able to get out of there, I think, maybe. They still land the stun on top of him, but the A blast is on Moose, so he's not regenning. Z-Freak is on top of him. Does he end up being able to get an upper generation? No, he ends up popping. Now we end up seeing the Gyrocopter take out the Venge, though. They've committed the Brew Split for this, and it looks like Z-Freak might be able to get away. They end up dropping the Sentry for him. Oh god, Limp does so much damage, but they lift him up into the Yule Scepter. Fluff and Stuff dropping low. They are now no longer in Brew Split form, so Swindles is going to be able to walk away from this one. They're just kiting them all over the place. I think they need to get out of here, though, because Viper's coming in, and now they're going to be able to maybe get the kill. Oh god, the Mechanism comes in last second, and that's going to be it. Swindles ends up getting godlike streak off the back of it. They're charging forward, wanting a little bit more. If they can possibly find Fluff and Stuff, he has that amplified damage on top of them. No another strike for another 30 seconds, but they do still have the urn if they want to use that. And Fluff and Stuff able to tether away last second.
Man, the Viper plus Amp is just insane. I wonder if we're just more damage output's insane. And the thing about Viper too is build as he's starting to now. Up to this point, he wasn't really building any damage items whatsoever. He was just building tank and maneuverability with the Manta, being able to get out of things. Wasn't any damage source. Probably an MK now to get rid of all this annoying evasion from the side of Archon. And when he gets that, it's going to be scarier, but really nice combo. This Amp plus Viper.
So it looks like now Alchemist is going to try and commit to the next item, which is a AC, as we do see Monkeys Forever get charged and then it gets canceled. I feel like at a certain point it's really hard to transition from the sort of fighty build that you usually see here out of Alchemist to go into something more along the split push where you have the Radiance and an Octarine Manta, all that stuff. Is there ever a point where it's worth it to go back for those items, or is it just more, oh god, Fluff and Stuff is going to get jumped on here, and I think that he does end up falling. They do tether away, going to be able to, oh, that was a little bit of a misplay, but Whitebeard still ends up falling, and Spiritbreaker kills off Io. They're diving tier 3s at this point. Moo has the debuff. They're going to kill him off a second time. Regeneration is not going to be in full effect, as Jayo's going to end up falling. BKB is up on Swindles. So much damage. Z-Freak might end up falling, but at what cost, honestly? You've lost 4 other heroes. Buyback status on the rest of your cores is is only on the Brew, who might end up actually going down here. I think that he gets away on the Earth Goal or the Earth Panda, but still, what do you need to do?
Nothing.
Dire's top
Let's
tower
down.
is under
He actually does
attack.
have a BK. Oh wait, no, that's Ben.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I was looking at the wrong hero. But tons of damage going to be applied to this Rax. Definitely going to be one set, might even two, depending on how fast they can take this. Hanskin, he's got his Ags, and after this Rax, he's going to have his Ags, basically.
Has fallen.
Blink
jump on
initiation,
forward.
unfortunately.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
He sleeps himself to set up the stun. Here comes the AA Blast to relocate out to save the Bane inside of his own base. Bad.
Dire's top barracks have fallen.
Yeah, it's not the best.
But it worked, hey.
Yeah, totally.
It worked.
And I think that they need, that's actually probably going to save the second set of racks for them too. I think if they kill the Bane there, they might feel comfortable with without any real control coming out from Archon to be able to go for that.
The Gyro's net worth is just abysmal. It's very. This is the second game in a row where Gyro just hasn't been able to find anything. HOTD and Sange at 31 minutes is just, oof, not where you want to be for obvious reasons. Wherever he's charged, he's got a ton of gold onto him. You gonna go for a Radiance?
He has a relic. I mean, I don't think it's a rapier, but stranger things have happened, I guess. It's kind of cool. What do you think about that?
Well, sting, to say the least. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that possibly Refresher would have been better, but he doesn't have the mana pool to cast it twice, I don't think. So he's just gonna go for Radiance, I guess. Be a weird play starting out, but I doubt that. Go for some kind of rapier play and like, yeah, I don't know. This is very weird. But they gotta take some down quite a bit.
I like the IO picking up the Ghost Scepter. To me, that makes sense. You've just got all this damage that's coming out in the right click from the Viper. Of course, the big problem that you end up running into there is Viper Strike is going to really, really tear through you if you're not careful. Alchemist still a ways away from being able to pick on up the AC, and it looks they're just going to wait for Roshan. And it is a long Rosh timer. BKB up now on Vengeful Spirit. You're really getting all the pieces just to be able to siege on up this high ground here in a couple of seconds, and it looks like Swindles is going to feel comfortable enough to go forward and jump onto Moo. AA Blast is going to connect the debuff, and I think that he ends up falling. Very, very, very easy pickoff. Moo, it's so tough because you need to be able to push on out there and farm, otherwise you can't catch up. But if you push out there and farm, they have lineups that can push that and, you know, make you pay for it. They are going to be able to know that this Radiant Observer Ward is in their base, but I don't think they can move forward and even try and kill it off without getting killed.
Swap out, coming on to Jo, and he's just dead, I believe. Very, very easy. No buyback on him, no buyback on the Alchemist. Basically comes down to a Brew split, and two supports. I don't think they can fight this. Game.
Sells his Vlads to finish the Radiance dream. We'll see if that's what it is. He does.
He sold his boots.
Alright, why not? Who needs boots? I got a Blink Dagger. I am a Brew. Take the Radiance burn. Feel it, everybody. They're gonna end up doing a lot.
They're just gonna die.
Though. Oh god, it's so sad. The Radiance is still there though. GG, well played. Ends up getting called. Archon lose game 2 of this series, so we're gonna be going on to a game 3 in the grand finals. Thankfully, this time Twitch did not crash on us. Thank you guys for joining us. Ralph, thank you for being a knowledgeable, wonderful person. Any thoughts as we move forward into this next game? We've seen a couple of pretty stompy games so far.
I think this game is very encouraging to Viper Picker because what happened was the opposite of what happened with a Viper, which snowball, you destroy your lane. Don't get me wrong, he was doing well in terms of CS in his lane, but he did get pressured.